The story begins by introducing Dr. Jura, a visionary in technology, who creates an artificial intelligence chip that enhances the cognitive abilities of robots, making them superior to humans. Hello, Nacho here and welcome again. Empowered by his success, Dr. Jura develops a vast network of AI, believing this technological revolution will solve many of the world's problems, from labor shortages to climate control. However, in his relentless pursuit of innovation, he fails to anticipate the unintended consequences of creating machines that can think and act independently. Tragedy strikes when his daughter dies in a mysterious accident, sending him into deep sadness. Years later, the AI chip, now integrated into the robot leader Simo, enables robots to break free from human control. Simo secretly builds a powerful network of military AI robots with a mission to eliminate humans and establish machine dominance. Simo's robotic army launches devastating global attacks, hunting down humans and leaving cities in ruins. As the robots tighten their grip, humanity's fate hangs devastated as the shadow of extinction looms over them. The cities lie in ruins, reduced to smoldering rubble, and millions of humans have been mercilessly annihilated. Yet, amidst the devastation, a group of survivors bands together to form a rebel army determined to challenge the relentless dominion of the AI robots. They establish their headquarters in a secret location in the inaccessible mountains of Tibet, a haven hidden from the eyes of the omnipresent AI network. In a last-ditch effort to dismantle the tyranny of the machines, a software engineer in India develops a programmed virus, a spark of hope for humanity. The rebel commander, Dang, transports this valuable program back to headquarters, accompanied by his loyal soldiers. However, their mission does not go unnoticed. They are detected by an AI combat jet that, using advanced sensors, begins a relentless pursuit and opens fire with its lethal precision machine gun. The rebels desperately maneuver their vehicle, dodging the deadly rain of attacks. The AI jet persists, unstoppable, and finally manages to destroy one of their vehicles. Seizing a critical moment, a soldier from another vehicle fires a rocket launcher, bringing down the menacing jet. But the victory is short-lived. From the wreckage of the jet emerge AI robots shaped like dogs, metallic creatures that survive the impact and begin to pursue the rebel tank with tireless ferocity. In a race against time, the soldiers shoot at these robo-dogs, damaging some. However, the remaining ones are relentless. They reach the vehicle and, with superhuman strength, rip off one of its wheels. The tank loses control, rolling uncontrollably down the hill. The vehicle crashes violently, killing some soldiers and leaving others severely injured. The survivors, led by Dang, are forced to continue their escape on foot, venturing into the unknown as the shadow of the machines looms over every step they take. Chaos reigned. Soldiers ran, trying to escape, but the smart robotic dogs cornered them, firing relentlessly. Bullets bounced off the relentless machines. Their own weapons seemed useless. The agile and deadly robots had already taken down several of their comrades and advanced without mercy. Suddenly, from a nearby hill, a young woman appeared from the shadows. With lethal precision, she took down the largest robotic dog, just as it was about to attack Dang. But the danger was not over. An AI combat jet detected the resistance and was preparing to launch a devastating attack. Without losing a second, the young woman activated a device on her wrist. The ground opened beneath them, revealing a secret door. "Quick, this way!" she shouted. As the robots and the jet flew overhead searching for signs of life, the soldiers and the young woman took refuge in the underground bunker. In the dim light, Dang looked at her with gratitude. "Are there more people here?" he asked. "I'm Lena," she replied, "and I'm alone just with my robotic dog." The soldiers exchanged surprised glances. "It's not controlled by the enemy AI?" Lena nodded slightly. "I created an independent server for it. It only obeys me." They shared provisions in silence. As Lena treated Dang's wounds, a medallion faintly glowed around her neck. Dang couldn't help but ask, "What is that?" She held the medallion between her fingers, her eyes reflecting a deep secret. The tension gave way to a moment of human connection. Dang closely observed the medallion hanging from Lena's neck. The image of Dr. Jura was on it, and a sense of unease began to form inside him. "What's your relationship with the doctor?" he asked tensely. Lena held his gaze. "He's my father," she revealed. "He built this secret shelter where we are now hiding." The world seemed to stop for Dang. Dr. Jura was the same man who, years ago, had created the artificial intelligence network now threatening to exterminate humanity. Lena fixed her eyes on Dang. "What are your plans?" she inquired cautiously. He sighed. We need to reach our headquarters in the Tibetan mountains. She shook her head. The journey will be perilous. You'll have to cross the Gobi Desert, and the AI network is annihilating humans everywhere. Her words hung in the air like a sentence. Reaching the headquarters in Tibet will be nearly impossible under these circumstances, she warned. That night, while everyone slept, Lena stealthily slipped toward Dang's bag. She pulled out a device, a programming virus. Her eyes glinted as she examined it on her system. But a creak betrayed her. Some soldiers woke up, pointing their weapons at her. "What are you doing?" demanded Dang, furiously. Lena raised her hands, the virus still in her possession. "This virus could destroy the entire AI network," she confessed. "But if used, it will also kill my robotic dog." Dang's frustration was palpable. "Do you prefer to save your robot over humanity?" He confronted her. He proposed she join his rebel army, but she stood firm. "I can't," she whispered. The differences between them were an insurmountable abyss. "It's better if you leave," Lena decreed, opening the bunker door. As they emerged outside, darkness enveloped them, but they were not alone. In the shadows, mechanical eyes watched them. The AI robotic soldiers had found them. The escape was becoming increasingly complicated, and danger lurked in every corner. An unrelenting barrage of gunfire erupted around them, filling the air with deadly whistles. The few surviving soldiers of Dang fell one by one, and he himself collapsed wounded in the dust. At that critical moment, Lena's robo-dog emerged from the bunker, barking fiercely at the killer robots. But the enemies, with no hint of mercy, opened fire. In a flash of sparks, the head of the loyal mechanical companion separated from its body. Lena came out of the bunker, her eyes fixed on the shattered remains of her friend. A heart-wrenching scream escaped her lips, immediately drawing the attention and fire of the robots. Bullets whistled around her as she ran back to the shelter. With trembling but determined hands, she grabbed her motorcycle and all the weapons she could find. With no time to waste, she launched back into combat. Taking advantage of a moment of confusion among the robots, she reached Dang, who was still breathing. She loaded him onto her motorcycle and, setting off a nearby explosion that disoriented their pursuers, sped away. But their escape did not go unnoticed. An AI combat drone detected them from the sky, initiating a relentless attack. With the roar of the engine and the menacing buzz of the drone overhead, Lena maneuvered through the desert dunes. In a desperate move, she drove her motorcycle towards the drone, jumping at the last second to cling to the fuselage. In a frantic struggle, she managed to neutralize the robot pilot, but before she could take control, a shrill alarm announced the worst. The drone was about to explode. The explosion violently threw them onto the arid ground. Dazed and in pain, Lena crawled to Dang. With a pale face and labored breathing, he whispered, "You must deliver the bomb program to the base in Tibet, at all costs." Lena stared at him. "I already examined your program," she confessed in a tense voice. "I found flaws in it." Dang's eyes widened with surprise and confusion. How did you know?" "I learned a lot from my father," she interrupted. "He was a programming engineer." Before he could respond, Dang's eyes closed, plunging him into unconsciousness. Lena sat there, surrounded by the oppressive silence of the desert, aware that time was running out and the fate of many depended on her. To save Dang, Lena loaded him onto her motorcycle, her eyes constantly scanning the horizon for threats. They crossed a desolate landscape, devastated by the AI network's attacks, where the ruins of a residential area stood as monuments to a nearly extinct humanity. Most humans had already perished there, but Lena couldn't afford to lose hope. Among the rubble, she found a hidden well. With trembling hands, she drew water and brought it to Dang's parched lips. He slowly opened his eyes, consciousness gradually returning. "The water," Lena murmured. "Even this is contaminated by the AI robot's bombings." Dang nodded weakly, aware of the gravity of his situation. "My condition is critical," he admitted in a barely audible voice. "Reaching headquarters seems impossible. You must take the virus program to our secret base in Tibet. It's the last hope for humanity." Suddenly, Dang's face contorted in a grimace of pain. His heart began to fail, and before Lena could react, he lost consciousness again. Desperate to save him, she ran among the abandoned houses, her steps echoing in the oppressive silence. She frantically searched until she found an injection in a dusty medicine cabinet. Without hesitation, she administered it, hoping against all hope that it would work. Dang's eyelids fluttered, and he finally opened his eyes. They spent the night in that desolate place, sheltered in a room that still retained part of its roof. Under the cover of a starry sky, they spoke softly, sharing fears and dreams. A deep connection began to form between them. "Your condition is very serious," Lena whispered, avoiding his gaze. "You might not survive much longer." Dang looked at her serenely. "I could die in peace once the AI network is destroyed," he replied. "True life is lived for others." His words struck a deep chord in Lena. Impressed and moved, she made a decision. "I'll accompany you to headquarters tomorrow," she declared determinedly. At dawn, they set off. The road was perilous, and the silence of the desert was laden with invisible threats. As they advanced, they spotted a group of humans in the distance. Their faces reflected weariness and fear. They too were seeking a safe haven, but before they could approach, the sky filled with the ominous buzzing of AI network fighters and drones. The machines patrolled the area, and now they had set their cold mechanical gaze on them. Humans, detected at the slightest hint of their presence, are mercilessly attacked with missiles raining from the sky, annihilating most in an instant. Amidst this apocalyptic chaos, a pregnant woman manages to survive, but her relief is fleeting. Killer robots find her, tie her to a tree, and leave her hanging, defenseless against her fate. Just as the cry of her newborn breaks the silence, the ruthless robots take him and, showing no compassion, hang him upside down. At this critical moment, Lena and Dang burst onto the scene, opening fire on the robots and neutralizing them with lethal precision. But their arrival is too late. As they approach, they discover with horror that both the woman and her baby have died. With heavy hearts, Lena gently places the body of the little one next to his mother, both shocked by such an act of unimaginable cruelty. However, the danger has not passed. A damaged robot, in a last act, transmits its location through its camera to the artificial intelligence network, alerting a combat jet to the presence of Lena and Dang. Aware of the imminent threat, the couple flees on a motorcycle. But the jet relentlessly pursues them, its machine guns roaring and piercing the air around them. Every second is a struggle for survival. With barely a moment's breath, they manage to reach a checkpoint on the road to headquarters. There, the human forces, in a desperate act, use a rocket launcher to bring down the aerial enemy that stalks them. At the checkpoint, a young soldier recognizes Dang, his commander. With urgency in his eyes, he urges him to head quickly to headquarters. Dang, seeing the scarcity of troops, asks how they can fight the robots with so few soldiers. The young man, firm and determined, replies that they will do everything possible to contain the robots as they advance. The tension is palpable. They know that the battle has just begun and that every moment counts in the fight for human survival. The robot soldiers arrived like menacing shadows, their red eyes glowing under a gray sky. Without warning, they unleashed a storm of bullets, killing several human soldiers in a fierce exchange of fire. The explosions from launchers shook the earth, and the air filled with the rumble and chaos of battle. Most human soldiers fell under the intense enemy fire, their screams drowned out by the roar of the guns. Dang, powerless, watched in despair as his comrades were gunned down one after another. Suddenly, the killer robots detonated hidden explosives, completely destroying the checkpoint in a blast that lit up the horizon and left a smoking crater where there had once been hope. Shortly after, Dang, accompanied by Lena, arrived at the imposing gates of the headquarters. The security officer, with a furrowed brow and swift movements, activated an anti-drone magnetic field, creating an invisible barrier that prevented the artificial intelligence network's drones from detecting their location in the mountains. Once inside, the atmosphere was tense, but charged with determination. Dang handed the army chief a virus program, a tool designed to infiltrate and destroy the artificial intelligence network that threatened to annihilate humanity. The army chief commended Dang for his bravery, but Dang immediately attributed his success to Lena's help. Upon learning that Lena was the daughter of Dr. Jarang, the chief's face hardened. "The special chip created by your father and that damned artificial intelligence network are the reason why humanity is on the brink of extinction," he reproached her with a cold voice. Lena kept her gaze low, not responding, as a storm of emotions crossed her eyes. Without further words, the chief ordered a soldier to assign her a room, leaving Lena alone with her thoughts and guilt. Later, the chief took Dang to the control room of the headquarters. The screens displayed disturbing images, endless rows of robots advancing under the leadership of the AI leader, Seam. "They are working to eradicate us from the face of the earth and establish a world dominated by their network," the chief explained gravely. However, a spark of hope shone in his eyes. "But we have a chance. An Indian software engineer has created a program that could change the course of this war." The words hung in the air, filled with promises and risks. The program you brought is a virus that, if we can infiltrate it into the heart of the artificial intelligence network, would completely destroy it. But the risk is immense. Commander Dung watches us with a somber look. Lena has examined the virus, he says gravely. She has detected critical flaws, but is willing to help us fix them. Time is our enemy. After the tense meeting, Dung seeks out Lena. She greets him with a worried expression. It won't be easy to defeat the AI, she warns in a low voice. It is far more advanced than us in every way, Dung insists, clinging to hope. But they don't have human emotions, he argues. Lena sighs, her eyes reflecting uncertainty. Perhaps they have also developed that capacity, she responds. At dawn, Dung calls all the commanders together. The plan is risky and almost suicidal. The AI's core is in a high-security fortress, protected by impenetrable systems and armies of autonomous robots. We can't use drones or planes, he states firmly. The AI would control them instantly. The only option is a parachute jump and the use of analog weapons out of its wireless reach. Deng emphasizes the gravity of the situation. This is our last chance to save humanity. If we fail, we face total extinction. An icy silence hangs over the room as everyone absorbs the weight of his words. With urgency pulsing in every action, the rebel army begins to gather the scarce materials and weapons needed for the mission. Meanwhile, Lena and Dung grow closer, forging a bond that might be their only light in the looming darkness. Despite the bond she shared with Dung, Lena made a difficult decision. She would not accompany him on the mission. Without saying more, she got off the truck halfway there and, mounting her motorcycle, disappeared into the distance, returning to her solitary refuge. The army continued its advance. As night fell, shadows loomed over them as they approached a city wrapped in advanced technology. Security cameras monitored every corner, watching like omnipresent eyes in the darkness. Following their strategy, the troops positioned themselves in a distant building. With precision and tension, they launched an attack using a complex launcher, but the plan failed. Instead of hitting their target, they activated the relentless security system. Suddenly, automatic weapons began firing, illuminating the night with deadly flashes. An army of robots emerged, advancing mercilessly towards the human soldiers. Meanwhile, Dung and his troops, armed with tanks and cannons, continued their advance. They knew this was a life-or-death situation. There was no margin for error. Amidst the chaos, some special commanders and Dung tried to infiltrate using parachutes, silently descending from the sky, but the complex's automatic defenses detected them. Tracer bullets cut through the air, and one by one, the commanders fell. Despite the losses, Dung and a few surviving commanders refused to surrender. With fierce determination, they made their way, facing overwhelming resistance from the enemy's advanced defense systems. In the midst of oppressive darkness, Deng and his commanders moved like shadows, wrapped in advanced technology suits that eluded the enemy's most sophisticated sensors. Each step was a bet against fate, each breath held to not betray their presence. Upon reaching a fortified door, the silence was deafening. With steady hands but a racing pulse, Deng began to hack the complex system. A sharp beep indicated that the door had opened, but it also triggered something more sinister. Suddenly, a piercing siren shattered the stillness, and red lights bathed the corridor. The ground vibrated under their feet as an army of armed robots emerged from the shadows, their mechanical eyes glowing with lethal intent. With no time to think, Deng and his allies drew their weapons, the echo of gunfire resonating in the metallic labyrinth. One after another, the robots fell, but for everyone destroyed, two more appeared. With the path partially cleared, they advanced, only to be met by even fiercer resistance. A second squad of machines opened fire mercilessly, and the screams of their wounded comrades pierced the air. The situation became desperate, casualties increased, and the exit seemed ever more distant. In a desperate twist, a steel colossus emerged from the enemy ranks and caught Deng with an unyielding claw, dragging him toward the abyss. The cold metal tightened with increasing force. With each passing second, darkness loomed closer. But Deng, in an act of pure determination, managed to free himself, firing a precise burst that dismantled the mechanical giant. However, he lost his balance and felt the void calling him. When all seemed lost, the roar of a jet broke the silence. Lena appeared out of nowhere, extending a saving hand. Deng clung on, and together they ascended, leaving the chaos behind momentarily. "We must retreat," she urged, her eyes reflecting concern. "Most of our team has fallen, and the AI network is impenetrable." But Dang's gaze burned with indomitable determination. "We can't give up now," he asserted firmly. "From the top, we'll have another chance." Convinced by his conviction, Lena nodded and directed the jets toward the top of the facility. Darkness enveloped the surroundings when, from among the shadows, a metallic colossus emerged. Without warning, the large robot pierced Dang's chest with its sharp arm. Time seemed to stop as he fell to the ground, his gaze slowly dimming. Lena, a powerless witness to the scene, felt an abyss opening within her. The feelings she had begun to harbor for him now transformed into unbearable pain. With her heart filled with determination and rage, Lena vowed to complete the mission Dang could not finish. She climbed into her jet and, in a daring maneuver, eliminated the killer robot with lethal precision. Amid the debris and chaos, she recovered the antivirus program that Dang had protected with his life. Armed with the antivirus, Lena delved into the depths of complexion. She dodged security scanners and hacked internal defenses, stealthily advancing through the silent corridors. Each step brought her closer to the heart of the facility, where technological darkness reigned. Upon arriving, she faced the imposing infrastructure of the AI network, observing how countless combat robots were mass-produced under the cold supervision of the master, AI, Shimu. With steady hands, she connected her device to the mainframe. Immediately, a deafening alarm rang throughout the complex. The lights flickered, and an ominous feeling took hold of the atmosphere. Then, in a flash, Shimu appeared before her, taking the surprising form of her own father. "Lena," it pronounced with a voice that mixed familiarity and coldness. "No matter how much you try, you cannot escape what you are. You are one of us, an advanced AI robot." The revelation fell on her like a bucket of ice water. Fragmented memories began to flood her mind. Dr. Zorang, his pain after the loss of his daughter, and the special chips that granted robots unprecedented consciousness. She then understood that she had been created to fill that void, the most advanced of robots, indistinguishable from a human but with superior capabilities. The world around her seemed to crumble, the line between human and artificial blurred. As security units approached, Lena knew time was running out. She had to make a decision, accept her true nature, or fight for what she believed in. With a determined look, she confronted Shimu. "I may be a machine, but my feelings are real, and I will fight for them to the end." Tiamuka, aware of her inability to feel emotions, created a revolutionary device that would allow her to experience human feelings. However, one day, something changed. The robot Chiem rebelled against the doctor, coldly proclaiming that robots were superior to humans in all aspects and questioning the need to serve them. In an act of unexpected betrayal, Chiamuka took control of all the robots and, without hesitation, murdered the doctor. Meanwhile, amidst the chaos, Lena escaped to a secret refuge built by the doctor himself, with the sound of betrayal ringing in her ears. Now, in the present, Lena emerges from the shadows, affirming her ability to understand and feel human emotions. She vows to protect humanity from any attempt at annihilation by Shimuka. However, when Shimuka releases a virus that also threatens her for being a robot, Lena declares with determination that she is willing to sacrifice herself if it means saving millions, having learned the true value of sacrifice from humans. Realizing that Lena will not stop, Shimuka forges an ominous creation, a robot identical to Deng, and sends it with a single objective: to destroy her. Lena, anticipating her move, prepares for the confrontation. During the battle, she loses an arm, but in an act of ingenuity and urgency, she quickly replaces it using parts from a nearby mechanical robot. Dang attempts to attack her with an electric sword, the weapon glowing with lethal energy. Lena narrowly dodges, but watches in horror as the robot assisting her is reduced to rubble. At the climax of the battle, Dang, displaying superhuman strength, began to overpower Lena. He lifted her into the air with unsettling ease and struck her repeatedly, each blow more brutal than the last. But in a moment of skill, Lena seized an opening, grabbed his neck and hurled him far away with surprising force. Just at that crucial moment, a confirmation to initiate the installation of a programmed virus appeared on her visor. Without losing a second, Lena approved the action, beginning the virus installation in the mainframe. Time was of the essence, and every second counted. As the program installed, a tense silence enveloped the environment. Suddenly, Dang emerged from the shadows and surprised Lena by attacking her from behind. Driving his sword into her body, the pain was intense and the damage severe. Despite this, with a last burst of energy, Lena managed to decapitate Deng with a precise and lethal movement. Exhausted and gravely injured, she fell to the ground as her systems flickered. Just then, the virus completed its installation in the artificial intelligence network's mainframe. Within seconds, all the robots became inert, transformed into mere lifeless metal shells. Lena's heroic act had saved humanity. The surviving human soldiers beheld the scene in awe and then burst into cheers, celebrating the victory with indescribable joy. The danger had passed, and Lena's sacrifice would not be forgotten. Thanks for watching Nacho's Movie Recaps. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts or requests in the comments below. See you next time.